1956, the royal family entered a horse called Devon Loch. A jockey named Dick Francis was riding the Queen's horse and had jumped and run the tortuous course magnificently. With only 30 yards to go, Devon Loch had the race won. But then it happened. He appeared to jump an imaginary hurdle and landed on his belly. Another horse raced past to the finish line, but his victory was overshadowed by the unexplainable collapse of Devon Loch. After the race, veterinarians examined the Queen's horse, but found nothing wrong. Ironically, Dick Francis, the jockey, went on to become a well-known author. He has written 20 mystery novels about horse racing. But the one mystery he could never solve was what happened to Devon Loch. There is no mystery about Hank Aaron. From the day he first reported to the Milwaukee Braves in 1954, Aaron was the perfect model of consistency. For more than 2 decades, he hammered baseballs over outfield fences. He had to hit against some of the best pitchers the game ever saw. He played when conditions were toughest, knew huge ballparks, increased travel, night games, and increasing pressures from the media. Slowly but steadily, Aaron chased baseball's most legendary record, the 714 home runs of Babe Ruth. On April 18, 1974, the largest crowd ever to attend a baseball game in Atlanta came to see and maybe even catch a piece of history.
Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron. The fireworks are going. Henry Aaron is coming around third. His teammates are at home plate. The home run king of all time. In a world where one-shot wonders can happen, Henry Aaron was that rare athlete who maintained a consistent level of excellence. Now, consistency may be the single most difficult achievement in sport. We stand in awe of individuals like Aaron and teams like the Montreal Canadiens. Now, since 1954, the Canadiens have won the Stanley Cup 15 times. Montreal Canadiens. Now, since 1954, the Canadiens have won the Stanley Cup 15 times. Maintaining that level of excellence over such a long period of time whose individuality was defined by his abilities as a team player. That man was Bill Russell. He was honored as Sportsman of the Year in 1968. But Russell was truly a man for many seasons. Forged a dynasty with the aid of an athlete whose individuality was defined by his abilities as a team player. That man was Bill Russell. He was honored as Sportsman of the Year in 1968. But Russell was truly a man for many seasons, and so was his team. Such is the nature of the dynasty.
13 championship banners represent the extraordinary achievements of the Boston Celtics, possibly the greatest dynasty in professional sports. The Celtics' catalyst was a skinny center named Bill Russell, number 6, who led a corps of sharpshooters to 10 NBA titles in 11 years. Celtic pride was as rich as their green uniforms, and they operated under a compelling philosophy unchanged by 3 decades.
To me, the Celtics are more than just a team. They're a way of life, because we like to think it's a special kind of guy that plays for the Celtics. There are no prima donnas on this team. There are no stars. We're all pulling together, and so it's a special type of guy. If a guy's not a class type of guy, he won't fit.
Teamwork was the essence of the Celtics, whether it was disciplined pattern play or dazzling fast breaks. They were driven by Red Auerbach, a coach as fiery as his team was flamboyant. The Boston Celtics won everything there was to win, using every way there is to win. In the future, all debates about basketball's greatest team will have to start with the Celtics, a team that enjoyed the longest championship reign in the history of professional sports. For 40 years, no team was as bad as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not once did they win a division championship. The sad story became ancient history when Chuck Noll became head coach. In 4 years, he rebuilt the team, and in 1972, the Steelers made the playoffs. For connoisseurs of destiny, it was a day to remember.
22 seconds remaining, and Bradshaw back and looking again. Bradshaw running out of the pocket, looking for somebody to throw to, fires it downfield. And there's a collision. It's caught out of the air. The ball is pulled in by Franco Harris. Harris is going for a touchdown for Pittsburgh.
The immaculate reception by Franco Harris marked the beginning of Pittsburgh's rise to power. In the following years, they would win more championship games and more Super Bowls than anyone thought possible. In the mid-70s, they stopped opponents with the pure physical strength of the Steel Curtain defense and ran over them with an offense rooted to the brute power of Franco Harris, number 32. In the late 70s, this dynasty elevated football to a higher level. Led by Terry Bradshaw, Pittsburgh passed over teams they used to run through. The Pittsburgh Steelers made up for 40 years of defeat with a decade of victory. 8 straight playoff appearances, 4 Super Bowl victories. The greatest dynasty in college football was the Oklahoma Sooners of Bud Wilkinson, a coach who grew football heroes like wheat. Up sprang a boundless crop of stringy, tough, toe-headed All-Americans. These lean and lethal Sooners dominated the 50s, winning 3 national championships and 47 consecutive victories, the longest winning streak in college football history. The heartland of America also produced a dynasty in high school football. In the 8 years from 1968 to 1975, the Hudson, Michigan Tigers won 72 straight games.
Suck it up! Watch the crap! Come on! Don't let down! Let's go! Fake! Fake! We got to fake!
It should not be surprising that this whistle stop in Michigan built such an imposing winning streak. For Hudson is the home of heroes. Not only did this tiny town produce these kings of high school football, it also produced fictional Jack Armstrong, the legendary All-American boy. Another boy who would be king was Bjorn Borg. Borg ruled the courts with an array of snarling topspin strokes, which earned him millions of dollars and a record 5 straight Wimbledon championships. But when you talk about the dynasty of the individual, all discussion must begin with Jack Nicklaus. When Scottish shepherds first swung at stones with their sheep crooks, they never imagined that their simple pastime would become an art form. The artist was Jack Nicklaus, a blend of power and precision, the winner of 19 major championships. Under a dozen skies, down 1,000 fairways, over 100 hills, walked the conqueror of golf courses on every continent. Jack Nicklaus was not always respected. His sin was bringing down the beloved Arnold Palmer. The first time he walked in the woods, Nicklaus shot Robin Hood. Hero worship is not transferable, and Nicklaus was called Blobbo, Baby Beef, or just plain Fat Jack. Trimmed down, he became the Golden Bear, the idol of golf. Nicklaus's game was epic, and his majestic shots landed as softly as butterflies with sore feet.
They ought to outlaw all scoreboards on a golf course, you know, because you're out there and you're choking to death as it is, and then you're looking at the scoreboard and Jack Nicklaus is going birdie, birdie, birdie.
Nicklaus may have approached perfection more frequently than anyone else has ever done. He remains the most prodigious force the game has ever known, not only for his tremendous strength or his marvelous touch, but for the abnormal extent of his will and his absolute determination to be the best player in the history of his sport. While only a few reach the pinnacle of their sport, the pure joy of competition is open to all. Sport is beauty, but it is also risk. Perhaps danger is part of the lure. A chance of sudden, unforeseen injury, or worse. In 1957, Donald Campbell's Bluebird crashed while attempting to set a water speed record. And Campbell paid the ultimate price for his sport. Others have had careers cut short. Bobby Orr was the quickest, most graceful defenseman hockey had ever known. But his playing days were over at the age of 30, when injuries brought his greatness to an abrupt end. Gordie Howe was different. In 25 years with the Detroit Red Wings, Howe scored more points than anyone in the history of hockey. Then he moved to the World Hockey League and played with his sons until he was 52, taking a place alongside some of the most memorable performers of the last 25 years. Sandy Koufax, who pitched 4 no-hitters. Roberto Clemente, whose career and life were filled with grace. Nadia Comaneci was a perfect 10 in the Olympics, and El Cordobés brought to life Hemingway's dashing Matador. But the magic of El Cordobés was limited to the bull ring. Muhammad Ali's arena was the world.
I am the king! King of the ring! I am the king! Not me! I am the king! Sonny Liston's not coming out! Sonny
From the moment he upset Sonny Liston in 1964, this man was a breath of fresh air in the brutish world of heavyweight boxing. Ali danced around his opposition like a willful child teasing a dog on a leash. Then he struck like a cobra in lightning combinations. His genius in the ring was matched only by his imagination outside.
And after we get the bear, we want the rabbit.
Who's the rabbit?
Floyd Patterson is the rabbit. We're going to have some carrots and some lettuce to trap him. Now Ali lands with a right. What a beautiful swing. And the punch lifts Terrell clean out of the ring. Terrell is still rising, and the ref wears a frown, for he can't start counting till Terrell comes down. It will be the biggest event in the history of the whole planet Earth. All because of me, not Joe Frazier. Because he's ugly, he can't talk, he can't dance, he can't do no shuffle, and he writes no poems.
But I hope to get out and be well invested in 2 more years. I want to quit, raise my family, and just enjoy life and travel. Get a few Charleston Heston rolls.
Muhammad Ali transcended the boundaries of sport, the most unforgettable character in Sports Illustrated's first 25 years.
Muhammad Ali was SI Sportsman of the Year in 1974. Like all great athletes, Ali embodied the spectacle of sport. He gave us the best that he had, and he never failed to capture our imaginations. What you've just seen is just the first 25 years of Sports Illustrated. But since 1979, a whole new generation of miracle makers and record breakers, memorable moments, contests, personalities taken center stage. There are more waiting in the wings. A show that never closes has already left images in our mind that we'll never forget.